All right, guys, here I am again with Nate Bauer from Nate Bauer Fitness. And today what I want to work on is some setups for your combinations. Now, these setups are particularly going to be more useful for the outside fighter, long range fighter, working against a pressure fighter coming in, but they don't necessarily have to be that way. If you are a shorter fighter and you're trying to close the gap, the only difference is that you'll be moving forward as opposed to moving to the side or backwards before you do the setup. So we're going to basically go over how you can set up angles and better land your shots just with these two straightforward setups. So first, one thing that's important before the setup, and one thing that's important in boxing we don't talk about, is that not every jab as an outside fighter that you throw has to land. Some of them can hit the gloves, some of them can be blinding, some of them can be disrupting. So preliminary to the setup, I'm just gonna get my hands up like I'm closing the gap, and all I want Nate to do is mess around with me with that jab. Lennox Lewis is one of the best to watch for this. You can see Lennox Lewis working this. Of course, Larry Holmes has an amazing stinging jab. A lot of outside fighters really good with using that lead hand to disrupt the gloves and set up the main shot that they want to land. It's not necessarily going to be the jab. So here I am with Nate. All I want him to do is just throw jabs in threes at any pace he wants, hit my gloves, come up the middle, hit the other glove, and just mess around with me. And now he's going to go just a little bit lighter just to play with me a bit. Not all jabs are going to be committed. So one thing that's really tough for me is because he's hitting my glove and hitting me on the other side and hitting me at the middle, it makes it hard for me to know where to move my head to get inside. If I knew every jab was coming up the middle, it would be easy because I would just jab or slip outside of that and then come in. But these jabs are coming from all over. Not only that, if he's always committing to a strong jab, I know his force is coming forward. I know I can go in on that. So what he also is going to do for the setup is mix up the intensity of the jabs. Some are going to be light, some are going to be more forceful, just to make him more unpredictable. So the first setup, this is a popular Lennox Lewis setup, is to step outside with the lead leg while throwing the lead hook to set up the right hand. Now the lead hook is really just a diversion. The jabs, the multiple jabs are the setup, the lead hook is the diversion, the right hand down the pipe is the money shot. So let's just do it slow initially just to get into the groove. So first Nate is going to jab me the way he wants at his own pace. And then when he's ready, he's going to step out with the hook to the outside of me, and he's going to bring the right hand down the middle. Let's just do it slow at your own pace. And look at that setup right down the pipe with that right hand. And because he's changing up the jab and not necessarily always committing with it, he's in control of when he wants to throw that left hook and right hand. Once he feels his right balance, he steps around with that hook and sets up the right hand down the middle. One thing that really is helpful is if the jab you throw before the lead hook is a blinding jab right to my eyes to make it hard for me to, and then he's gone to set up that right hand. Boom. And it's a nice and easy quick setup. The left hook is the diversion to keep me busy. The right hand comes right down the pipe. We'll go through it one more time. He jabs, the jabs are all over the place. Lead hook to step out. After a blinding jab, boom, right down the pipe with the right hand. Boom. And you can see it's a beautiful setup. It's a beautiful angle for the outside fighter. Now that example is moving to the left to the outside. Another excellent one, if you're the taller fighter, to fade away from the shorter fighter's right hand is to step out with your back foot on a back angle after working the jab and throw the uppercut. You're stepping out to the right on the back angle, that uppercut is coming across. So it's going to come underneath, my left hand's going to come right up underneath, set up with the jab itself. But let's say we don't even just throw the jab. All I want Nate to do is just a small step back to the angle, right? Maybe a little more back on the angle. Here he goes, bam, that's it. It works nice, especially if I'm trying to jab my way in. I'm jabbing my way in, ooh, and that's a big opening coming up the top. So let's say if he doesn't move, let's say you don't move, I will touch him with that jab. I'll get a little bit of control. But as soon as he takes that step, boom, and he can still get me. All he has to do is step enough to get away from the shot, but not so far that he's out of range. And that's where you outside fighters, you have to know your range. You have to work on that. You can work on that on the double end bag to know your range. Once you know your range, you can work a lot of magic. So let's just work that again. I'm gonna pressure Nate, and as I'm pressuring him, he's gonna jab me moving back, maybe 3-4 times. When he's ready, he's just gonna step, boom, and bring that uppercut right up the middle on the angle. And you can see what a beautiful setup that is. He gets out of the way, and then he still comes up the middle, and he can still set up more shots off of that. And that's a powerful uppercut coming up the middle. It makes it easier, just like with going to the left side, he hit me with the left hook on this right hand, kind of blind me to that side. He's gonna jab me to this glove, shove that glove in my face. That's gonna make it easier for him to step out to the right and make it harder for me to see that happening. So we're gonna go at a nice easy pace to show you that he's not just jabbing at me, but also working me on that side when he's ready to move over. Boom, and him shoving that glove makes it harder for me. Now, you can see if I was jabbing or throwing anything, I would be wide open for a shot. If I'm throwing the right hand as well and coming in, I'm wide open and he's fading away. Of course, there are answers to this. There are solutions. Doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get tagged. If you can throw, move your head, throw and cover and counter, there are always next steps to this. But these are two excellent setups, especially for the outside rangy fighter. Stepping out to the left with the lead hook, everything working off the jab, hitting the gloves, coming up the middle, blinding, or working back to the right angle, fading out to the right, long range, setting up the uppercut. Key to landing that is knowing your distance. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.